Oh, welcome to Sprints. Reading, writing, productivity, whatever you want to do, Sprints. I'm joined by my lovely friend Sharon on my new day. I'm trying Sunday, Sharon, to see how Sundays work out
I
for me.
know. I've had to leave the charm chat because I forgot it was charm chat
Oh,
tonight.
oh,
So
sorry.
I said it's okay. I forgot. And so I said to Shelley and Josh, I said I'll watch the first half. I'll catch the other half later.
Oh, Shelley does sometimes do Sundays. Maybe that I'll have to watch out whether Shelley's got something
Yeah,
on at the
she
same
does.
time.
She's not next Sunday, but about every Sunday, virtually every Sunday there's something. But I didn't realise it was charmed. I thought it was next week. So,
Oh,
but
it's
it's
hard to keep
fine.
track of everything. And this is the thing, like I kept trying to find a day and it was clashing with other people's sprints. And there's certain days
Yeah,
where they're just not working for me because I teach on a Thursday. It was just proving really difficult. Like I'd have a really
yeah.
long day and then I'd want to spend time with Nathan, and before I know it, it's sprint time. And I'm like, oh, I can't do all these things at the same time.
I know.
Um,
I'm going to do one in the day. I think when I know I'm a retired person. I'm thinking I'm
Yay!
going to start doing sprints in the day. So
Yeah, I've
because
been
I
thinking of
can.
doing that because that's how
Yeah,
I work anyway. I mean, we could do one together maybe.
yeah,
But I work like that anyway. I do about 45 minutes an hour and then I go off and have a little break and come back. So I might as well do
yeah,
it and share with other people and let them kind of join in if they want to as
yeah.
well.
I think I think it'll be quite good really because there's already a lot of people who do evenings, isn't there? So it's just like yeah, and I'll watch a lot of sprints in the afternoon when I'm off. Do a lot of the American ones are in the afternoon because of the timings.
Yeah.
So I tend to watch a lot of them and use those ones. So yeah, but, I've
They're
got my
nice,
new
aren't
computer
they?
set up.
If there's nothing else to watch in an evening, if I'm like half working, I just have a sprint on in the background as like a bit of extra company and
I always
something to
pop
motivate
into
me.
I always pop into Paula's one on a Monday
Yeah.
evening. She does games and sprints. I don't really comment very much. She knows I'm there, I think, but I don't comment very much. But I just go on for the sprints, and then while she's playing her games with the other people, I'll carry on reading. But it's
Yeah.
quite nice in the background.
Yeah, it is. I still don't have much of a handle of what other people are doing on different days. I just have to like push ahead and do my own thing because you know what I'm
Yeah,
like. I've got like various irons in the fire. Like today, I've been to a children's birthday party and been to Sundown Adventureland kids theme park all day. So I've just been like went
you
straight from
crazy
Sundown to the
person.
party. I
You
know.
crazy person.
Well, we'd already planned Sundown, and then this kind of last minute party was thrown in, and we
Yeah.
were like, "Oh yeah, we want Nathan to go to this party. Let's do both." So now me and Kev are like, and of course he's still full of energy. He could carry on going for another 5 hours, but
At least
that's
it's a bit
children,
cool. I
isn't it?
don't know what it's like up by you, but it is a little bit cooler here today.
Do you know
Um,
what it is?
yeah.
Upstairs, I walked up, and for the first time, I didn't feel like I was walking into a wall of heat.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's been horrible, hasn't it?
It's when
I
you've been out all
know.
day. I'm out all day quite often, and then I come in and I'm like, oh, I need to call the house down for 7 o'clock now to get little person to bed, and it's not easy. This heat just
I've got
hasn't
an
been
air
it. I
conditioner.
struggle with it quite a bit.
I think I'm quite lucky, really. Carl bought me an air conditioning unit last year for the bedroom.
Oh,
So at least
amazing.
I think I'm the only person I know in my friendship group who's been able to sleep
Is
because I
that one of
think
those?
well,
Is it a stand-up one or is it sort of a fitted one
it's a
in
stand-up
the?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it runs on water, so there's
Oh,
nothing out the window. So you just put
that's
water in
so
and an ice
good.
block, and it blows cool air all night.
Maybe that's what we
So
need to try because we bought one last year, succumbed to the cold weather, but it was one of those that you had to put a pipe out the window, and the heat coming off the pipe was so hot. I was like, this is crazy that it's blowing a tiny bit of cold air towards us, but then the rest of my house is absolutely boiling because of this heater unit thing coming out of it. So we ended up getting rid of ours because it just wasn't working for us. But that sounds a lot better.
it's only small as well. It's only about this wide. It's about 4.5 foot, but it's this wide, and it kind of goes out the way, when I don't use it, and it's really easy to use. And I think Carl got it from a home base. It was about 120 quid, and he got a discount obviously because he worked there at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was like it just the job, you know.
Yeah, it's needed in this country. I think the weather's just so unpredictable.
When we have it, when we have the heat, it's intolerable, isn't it? And
Yeah,
I know as British people, we always complain about the weather. I don't. I love the rain and the cold. I never complain about it because I love it. I love the autumn and the winter. this kind of weather makes me feel ill, and it makes my body hurt. And but you know, I don't begrudge it people who love it because it's so rare.
Well, this is it. My friend lives in Australia for part of the year, so whenever it's hot here, she's like, "Oh, I'm home again." Like, it feels like I'm in Australia now, and I'm there like sweltering. You know, I can't
It just
actually
hits
talk to you.
differently.
Yeah.
I've lived all over the world in some of the hottest places in the world. You know, I lived in Dubai, I've lived in Arizona, and it's a lot higher temperatures, but it's drier. You can cope with it. It's
Yeah, I mean,
it's just pure
we're
heat.
going
There's
to
no enjoyment.
Florida. The Florida heat's muggy, but I feel like because you're on holiday, you're kind of living at a different pace, aren't you? It's when you've got to carry on your normal routine and you're sweltering. I think that's what
And
doesn't work for me.
also, everywhere's air conditioned. Just
Well,
as
yeah,
you go
this is
from an air conditioned hotel to an air conditioned car to an air conditioned bus to an air conditioned building, everything's air conditioned because it's set up for it. So that's the problem. I think here it's just we're not, are we?
Well, we get shocked when it's any weather. I think the driving goes to pot when it's raining, snowing, too hot, too cold. Can't cope.
Yeah, we can't cope. We can't cope.
No. So tonight I've got a list of admin things. I'm really bad for putting off little, like messages where I know I need to send a message and they're about nice things to do with my book, but it's like, right, I'm going to sit and do them all together. I've just got a few.
Exciting, not long now.
It's like collaborations that I'm planning to do. You know, like I always do with people like, say, Cozy Book Company and Sinister Science. So I'm messaging them to sort out, but it's just having to make decisions. Like, make a decision. So I'm just going to send them a message and get the ball rolling on stuff. So I need to do that. And I'm interviewing Bill Wood tomorrow. You know, who wrote Let's Split Up?
Oh, I love Bill.
He's lovely, isn't he? So I'm going to interview. I've not managed to meet him in real life. I was going to go to his launch, and then it was just on a night that I couldn't do midweek. And then he was meant to come to Yalk and he was poorly. So I've kind of met him a few times. So it'll be nice to actually talk to him on screen because obviously I watch his videos, but we've not actually spoken. So
I think he was
I need to write my questions.
One of the first book talkers I ever followed was Bill. And
yeah.
I think one of it, the reason I followed him was because his first video I saw was when he was with his little brother.
Oh,
and
yeah.
His brother used to have whatever Illumicrate's version of a children's book box. And they were so adorable together. And that's why so I started following him a few years ago when I first joined TikTok. So to see him do so well, I'm really pleased for him, really. And I loved the book. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's really good fun, isn't it? I'm looking forward to it. I think the next one's it come out in October, maybe?
September, October time.
September. Yeah, I need to check. And obviously I've read the first one to chat to him about, but I'm looking forward to asking him about the second. And I think he was working on another book as well, and then he got the deal for the second one. So I think he's got something else in the works too that probably will be his next year's book. So I've got lots.
He's a Brummie. He's a Brummie. I'm from the Midlands. He's a Brummie boy, isn't he? So yeah.
Yeah, we like the Midlands accent, don't we? So yeah, so my main job is to do my admin things, and then hopefully I can do some editing of my children's book. And you are working on. Yes, I know, the accidental children's book that I didn't mean to write, and just the voice just came into my head and I started writing it, and then 20,000 words later I was like, oh yeah, maybe this could be something. And I've sent it to a couple of author friends now and they've said it's good. So I'm like, well, if Mia Kushner and Alex Falk say it's good, then well, Alex, to be fair, Alex hasn't read the book yet, but I've told her about the idea and she likes what she's heard. So
it's and the new book that's all sorted, all in place now.
Officially, yeah. I need to do a post about it, but yeah, I've officially signed off the cover and I've signed off the interior, so it's all done.
I can't wait. Got me pre-ordering. Can't wait for
thank
that.
you.
I'm not much of a romancy person, remember, but I do love vampires. So it depends how much romance. I might have to skip over that part.
It's not the kind of sickly romance. It's very much the like intense kind of gothic vampire romance, and I won't spoil it for you, but it doesn't go in a kind of my usual romance direction. It's a bit destructive.
That's
so I think
toxic.
So hopefully Yeah, I think you're never going to have like a really nice balanced relationship with Dracula, are you? He's going to mess something up along the way.
No. He's a red flag, isn't he? Let's be honest.
It's a walking, talking red flag. So you're plotting tonight, Sharon?
I have, yes, because I've, if anybody's, I've retired officially now from work, which is great. And so yeah, when I was about 12, with my friend Georgina, we started writing a children's book about 5 time-traveling teenagers who solve crimes all through history. And then we obviously grew apart after a while, and she sadly passed away when I was about 15. And currently there's about 10 books. So I'm going to go over that and see if it's worth looking into. And then
the idea is really good. I'm putting my teacher hat on now, Sharon, but I feel like teachers would love, I mean, it'll have the narrative arc, won't it? But teachers would love dipping into, say you did an ancient Egypt bit and you're doing that topic, teachers would be like, oh yeah, I'll have that one. And then when they go to ancient Greece, I'll have that one.
I've got the ancient Egyptian one. is about Hatshepsut, who was the only female pharaoh.
Oh, cool.
So I'm looking at that and kind of work those out. And then I've got a couple of ideas for younger children's books. And I have a friend who's an illustrator, and we'd like to perhaps work together. And so I'm going to just kind of plot things out in my head a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's amazing how
I don't tend to plot very much, right?
Yeah.
I tend to just write.
You don't need to. I think the only thing you need to know if you're not a plotter is that you need to come back and do it in hindsight and kind of just check that all your threads are there and you've picked everything up. I mean, I interviewed CJ Tudor, and she said that I think she knew like Alaska vampires and that was about it, and she just started writing, and until she writes she can't see the story. And I can see so much, but then it's like I hit a brick wall, and until I write to that bit I can't get past the brick wall, so I can't plot a whole book out. I've not managed it for any of them yet.
No, I don't. With the other ones, with the teenage one, I've got their names and what they like, the basic histories. And then the idea, where are they going? They're going to ancient Rome, they're going to ancient Egypt. They go back to the 60s at one point. They go back to the 50s in America during the civil rights. So it's like I have an idea and then I just kind of go with it. So, yeah. But with the children's ones, because it's going to be young children, do you know what I mean? Like Nathan's age children.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to plot that a little bit more because I have to be more careful what I'm doing.
Have you are you thinking like are you thinking chapter book, or are you thinking picture book?
Picture book, picture with a story. Yes.
Yeah.
So at the moment, but then there's part of me that one of the ideas I think would work really well as middle grade, because it's like an adventure. So I don't know really. I don't know enough about that side of. I just know what I think to myself. I'll just write it, then somebody can read it for me and tell me what they think he's aged at. Do you know what I mean?
I don't always. I mean, when I started writing my Dracula one, I thought it was going to be an adult book, and then as soon as the characters came to me, I was like, "Oh no, they're teenagers, and they're at uni."
Yeah.
All right.
So, sorry, I just went the wrong way.
No, it's fine. No, I was just checking you were all right for a cat cloud on, and Sharon's quietly choking on the other side of the screen. So I started writing an adult book, and then that turned into YA. And the children's book I'm writing now, I thought was going to be a really simple chapter book, like Isadora Moon type, one simple arc, lovely things happen. And then it's ended up a bit darker, so I think it's middle grade. So I never know until I'm in it. I think you probably, if you are the kind of pantser type, it's a case of write it and read what you think it might be. Read some picture books and see if it has the vibe that you
I think it's because, I'm so soon to becoming a granny in a minute. You know what I mean? She's due, she's full term now. So she's any time really. And I just think I'd love to write a story that has her in it. And even if it's just a one-off and I just do it one-off just for her, then I want to do that. You know what I mean? And I can draw myself, so I can illustrate a lot of it myself. So it's but yeah, I think I'd just love to, yeah, a young child's book just feels like something I want to do, you know. And they're actually deceptively difficult to write.
Oh, so difficult. I know
Yeah,
lots of people who do it, and it definitely is less time consuming than writing a full novel overall, but
yeah,
it isn't like the half-hour job that some people think it is. It's like weeks of
no.
crafting, refining, and then probably months when you take into account the editing and stuff.
You
I think
just
some
want to get
people
the
can
right
churn them out.
words. You
Yeah.
need to get the right words, you know what I mean? So as an adult, we use different words than, you know, somebody, a child 3 or 4 would use. And so it has to be in a way they can understand it, right? So it's kind of, yeah, so I'd love to do it. We'll see what happens. So much can have a play tonight. And I am reading. I am on the ARC team for Robbie Litsky, who's a lovely indie author, and he's writing a 6-part zombie
Ooh.
novels. I'm reading the second one, which is called Dead Awake Overrun. This is the second part. It's a new take on zombies in a little town in England. It's brilliant, so gory. The first book, the first chapter, I finished the first chapter. I was like, okay, we're starting with a bloodbath. Marvelous. It's
I'm
so
reading.
good.
Are you doing Summerween, or are you just reading horror because it's
I
horror?
just because I read horror, isn't it? I mean, I just read horror all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I did a Summerween TBR, but was thinking, you know, I was going to be reading these books anyway. It just so happens that it's fallen during Summerween. So I've started reading Daphne by Josh Malerman, literally just because I saw it in my library and I was like, oh, I want to read more Josh Malerman. And it's really fun. I say fun. Teenage girls are being, you know, murdered horribly. And they're all on the same basketball team. And at the first murder scene, it tells you really early on, so it's not much spoiler, a photograph was taken from the wall of the whole team. So the killer's got this photograph and they're now wondering whether the killer's working their way through this photo.
I love that.
And it's the scenes are quite graphic because it's bare hands. So it's kind of describing this, you know, things happening with the bare hands. I think certain things feels very, I think intimate's the wrong word, but it does feel like that it's the person has to get really close
very
to the
intimate.
person. Yeah.
From a psychological perspective, getting hands on is you really want them dead.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't really know. I'm always interested with books like this. The motive for me has got to be airtight, and I don't fully know that yet. So I think I'm really enjoying it, but it'll all come down to the last 10 pages for me. Like I think most horror books do. They rise and fall to me on the ending. Like, is it something, a really short, sharp shock that works effectively, or does it leave you hanging in a way that's annoying? Does it give you a motive that's rubbish? Like, I feel like a horror book often do you find that the ending can just flip how you feel about horror?
I think sometimes it's like almost like the authors run out of get up and go. So they start off really strong, and then it'll dip a little bit in the middle, maybe, and then it'll build up again, and then the ending's kind of oh. And I mean, I prefer an ending that's either ambiguous or violent, because in real life that's what would happen. There's never an happy ending in these. You wouldn't if you were hunted by a serial killer. There's no happy ending there, is there? Even if you get away. So I think sometimes they run out of oomph. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm starting to find with adult horror as well that I prepare myself now that adult horror is probably not going to end well for at least one of the main characters. And so far that kind of logic is seeing me through, because at first I was really shocked. The first few adult horrors I read, because it had been a while, I was like, oh man, this ending, like people aren't all getting out alive. Whereas in YA, they don't always, but generally your little core group are probably going to be safe in a lot of YAs, like the younger YA, like we're talking about with Bills, without spoiling too much. You kind of know that certain characters are probably going to be okay.
Yes.
So yeah, adult, I have to remind myself, you're reading an adult book now, you know, manage your expectations. Even though Daphne, it feels
YA. They all die.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit with that in Daphne, because of course, Josh Malerman, he's great. You get to know these characters and these girls who've got all this potential, and they are only teenagers. And it seems ostensibly like they haven't, as individuals, done anything wrong. They're just on this team. It's not like, saying I know what you did last summer. It's like the teenagers have specifically made a decision to do something wrong.
Yes.
And then they're tormented for it. In this, I don't know. I don't know if they don't obviously deserve what happens to them, but there's a clear motive. And at the moment, the lack of a motive is really scary. And the fact that these girls are just being picked off. And really the parents are trying to do, well, they're doing things like one of them tried to leave the town, and it's still what you would do as a sensible parent trying to protect your child, and they're doing all the stuff, but it's not working, which is terrifying as a parent. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad this is just a story.
I really enjoy his writing, because there's always like an underlying thing to his like instance around the house is in itself a really creepy possession story, but then you have this underlying, really uncomfortableness about the adults in this child's life, even her parents. There's a real underlying kind of something's not right. Do you know what I mean? And he has these layers to his stories. It's really clever, I think, for a horror writer.
Yeah, this is that kind of pondering of these young women who feel like adults, but they are ultimately, a lot of them are still children.
Yeah.
And they're at that kind of cusp of adulthood where they're trying to maintain autonomy and independence, but there's also a killer in the town, and the adults are trying to protect them.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with this killer is it's called Daphne, and she is an urban legend. And the thing is that you don't want to think about her or talk about her, because if you think or talk about her, she supposedly comes. So it's really scary. Yeah, because there's these teenage girls that are thinking about her and then thinking, oh no, don't think about her because she'll come for me next. So it's really scary. And it's, it's figuring out, is it actually supernatural, or is it going to be, I'm erring towards supernatural, but you never know with these things, do you, whether there's going to be some human threat involved as well. But yeah, very good. It's messing with my head a lot.
Well, I'm really enjoying this series by Rob. This is the second book, and he's releasing a book every month for 6 months, and it's really, really good because it's such a unique take on zombies, and the characterization is so good, and the body, he's the actual king of body horror. He does it so well. So it's really kind of but it's kind of wonderful. So yeah. But I'm reading a lot of Japanese fiction, Japanese and Korean fiction, a lot of.
All right.
Really enjoying it, especially the horror, because it's so gory.
Yeah, and I like the fact that when I read things like Junji Ito comics, I like the fact that it's from a different storytelling tradition, so we can't predict it as easily because, we get used to the kind of Western, like, these are the 7 basic plots and most stories will fit into them.
Yes.
Whereas you read something from another culture, I think that it can wrong foot you more because you're just not used to it as much. And I love that with these short stories.
I just reread Ring or Ringu, the original book. I read it in the 90s when it first came out, and I'd forgotten how good it was and how different it was from the film. And but yeah, and I'm really enjoying the kind of the fantasy of also some of the fantasy of Japanese fiction is really interesting. And so I'm not, I'm a bit fussy about fantasy, as you know, but I'm really enjoying that kind of, there's a wonder to it, a kind of dreamlike wonder to it. I've got a fantastic Junji Ito I'm reading at the moment, which is the Frankenstein one.
Oh, I have that. I've not read it. Is it good?
So yes, I've started reading that, and I always find it difficult because you're reading from the back forward, and my autistic brain thinks that's freaky. So I can only read one story at a time.
It's right to left. Is it right to left as well?
Yes, it's the opposite. Right to left, exactly the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it takes me about 20 or 30 pages to recorrect my brain. And I go to the left every time and then go, no, turn to the right. So I end up spoiling it for myself because I'm reading the wrong bit of the story first.
But it's really good. It's his take on Frankenstein. It's kind of it's almost written in cooperation with Mary Shelley, like she's a co-author, right?
Yeah,
that's interesting. And there's about 8 or 9 other stories, but yeah, his illustrations are just so beautiful. So
they're incredible, aren't they? And I think so beautiful, but also so terrifying. There's one.
Yeah, they're really.
I remember which book. Oh, like Uzumaki. Have you read Uzumaki?
Yes.
Some of the ones. Yeah. like what can happen to the human body at the mind of Junji Ito. It's like
they just seem to be really simple drawings. A lot of them are very simple line drawings, and yet they convey such horror. I mean, it's a talent. It's just such a talent, that.
Yeah, sometimes you'll open and it'll be a double-page spread, won't it? And just no words, and you've just got
It's
this
just
horrific
like,
content with, and you can look at it as much or as little as you want. You kind of internalize it. And I sometimes like I have a really quick look, and then I turn over, and then I'm like, oh no, I need to look back at it and figure out what I'm seeing here. It's brilliant. I really think he's an absolute genius.
So do I, and I struggle a lot with manga and stuff, because when I read, I see a movie in my head.
Yeah.
So sometimes if I read a graphic novel, my brain gets confused, because if I'm reading, it's got a lot of words. The words are creating a different picture.
Yeah.
So sometimes I get a bit. Whereas with Junji Ito and Uzumaki, I don't, because their writing is so kind of succinct. I can actually just look at it and I can read the story without reading the words.
Yeah. I suppose it's almost like training your brain, and if it feels uncomfortable, it's knowing whether you want to persevere or not. It's so interesting. I love hearing about how people read. Let's see how the people in the comments are doing. Hello, Jackie. Hello, Arisha. Oh, clicking away from my comments. Let's see where we are. Oh, we could talk all day about this, but if you like horror and thriller, me and Sharon are probably your people. Cynthia Murphy, Catherine Foxfield, me. I write books for 15-year-olds.
Yes.
If you want to read some vampire murder mysteries set in the 80s or 90s, I'm your girl. Catherine and Cynthia write really good horror thrillers, as does Kat Ellis.
Kat Ellis and Dawn Kurtagis.
Yeah, I was going to say Dawn.
If you want something more on the gothic kind of witchy side of things, Dawn Kurtagis is. Kat Ellis writes really creepy horror.
And if you want romance, Laura Wood springs to mind, that she writes beautiful, historical, dreamy, amazing, sort of Gatsby-esque in some points, depending on the time period. But yeah, they're my initial thoughts, Risha. If you've got any like specific things you want, let us know and we'll try. Hello, Denise.
Hello, I love your name.
It's going well. Daphne is proving a good Summerween read because it's short, so I'm hoping that I'll get a couple of books in this week. And it's how's yours going, Denise? Are you partaking in Summerween this year? Excellent. I've bought it. I've bought every YA book club pick so far. There've been 3. There've been The Wycherleys by Annalise Avery. Heir of something was the second one, a fantasy book, and then The Goldens. I've read none of them yet. I just keep buying them.
I didn't know Waterstones were doing a YA pick.
Yeah, they've just started. I think. What month are we on? Are we on July? I think May was the first one. They've just done May, June, July.
Fantasy ones though? I'm not.
So far, they're quite fantasy oriented. The first 2 were fantasy, and this one is kind of, I don't know whether it's a bit dystopian, a bit thriller. Still has a slight fantasy vibe. So yeah, I'm hoping they'll do some horror from a selfish point of view as much as anything. I have said to my publisher, can we just
yours is out in September, darling, innit? They've got to have a pick for September, aren't they? That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm just putting it out into universe. That would be amazing. At some point, I'd love to be a book of the month. Because I think at the moment, because it's so new, I think publishers are all going, where's this come from? How does this happen? So I think they're figuring stuff out. I think after this year, people will probably know. I think my publisher at the moment are just like, figuring out what is actually the process. Have these books been picked? I don't think anybody really knows. So mine's obviously kind of gone forward, but whether it'll go anywhere, who knows? Possibly, Stephen. I'm a bit behind, as always, on my YouTube comments, so I'll check. Hello.
Hi, Katie.
It's nice to see your handle name. Hopefully see your face at some point. We'd said about meeting up at some point, and this year has just vanished on me. I don't know how it's July.
Away from you, isn't she?
She is.
Annoyed, but I love her. But the books seem always have happy ending. It's not always really.
Yeah. See, I've had a really good run of Darcy Coates books, but the first one I read, I DNF'd and wasn't into. And then I read one that I thought was pretty good, and then I've read 2 that I absolutely love. From Below, that you recommended, Sharon. I thought that
doesn't have a happy ending.
It's incredible.
Below. That's the best book she's ever written, as far as I'm concerned.
And have you read Dead of Winter? Because that one's very good as well. That's
Yeah,
very
that's chilly, that one, isn't it? I haven't
Agatha
read it, but I
Christie.
remember you read it and enjoyed it, so I've got it on
Yeah,
my
Save It for
TBR.
Winter. It's very much the one person at a time in quick succession is picked off, isolated location, can't get away.
I think
It's
she's
really
a lot
good.
like Riley Sager in the fact that
Yeah.
it can be hit and miss. Some of them are really, really good and really dark and really haunting, and some of them just don't quite hit the mark. You know?
I think there's different types of horror readers, isn't there? And I think that some of these authors, like say Grady Hendrix, is really experimental, and his books do the same. They either seem to really land. Like I've ended up DNFing Witchcraft Wayward Girls. I was really sad, and I know some people in the chat
I
absolutely
loved
loved
it.
it, but
I loved it.
it's just too sad for me. I cannot cope with the treatment of the teenage girls. I
No,
can't.
it's
I know it's
horrific.
historical fact, but I can't get past it. It was
That's what
making
the
me so
horror is.
depressed.
That's the
Yeah,
horror in that book. Nothing to
yeah,
do with witchcraft, really. That comes
no,
in later. It's to do with how those girls were treated. That's the true horror.
yeah.
And
I was so upset by it that I couldn't carry on. Like I wasn't getting anything more out of it than the first half hit me like a gut punch, and I was like, I'm gonna have to stop for now.
it's incredibly brave, Grady, because every single one of his books is different. He doesn't write in a genre. He writes different.
And to be a male author as well, going, yeah, I'm going to tackle this subject matter because he has got family history that links back to it. But ultimately, to be a man writing about teenage pregnancy,
it's incredible, and
is really bold.
He did his homework. You know, he got in contact with a group of women who went through this. He spoke to them. He took, you know, he's speaking from experience of women. Incredible. I mean, but yes, I can understand why some people didn't like it. I can understand, but he's divisive, Grady. You either really love it or you really don't. Like I didn't like the Southern Guide to.
Oh yeah.
I hated that. Hated the dialogue in it. I would DNF that book.
Yeah, see, I liked that one. There were things I didn't like about it, but overall, I thought he did a good job of the Southern Gothic thing that he was going for. I think he had a very deliberate.
I found the dialogue so tedious. I just couldn't get it just turgid for me, that was.
Yeah.
There was too much dialogue for me. But, you know, that's why he tries different things, and fair play to him, you know. Not everything's going to hit, is it?
No, exactly. And I think I prefer that, somebody who is willing to be bold and tries to vow. Complete the Throne of Glass series. I have got Hidden Pictures and I still need to read it. Yeah, it looks so good. You've reminded me, Katie, I need to bump that up my list.
Yeah. It's even good on Kindle.
Yeah. Do you know what? I picked up When the Wolf Comes Home for Gabby Reed's book club, and there was a note at the front that said, please note that bad things happen to a 5-year-old boy in this book. And I went, oh, okay. So I bought this book and was like, oh, that is specifically the age and gender of child that I want nothing to do with horror.
That was one of the books in the Abominable Book Box this month, was The Wolf Comes Home. So I do love that. I've
heard it's amazing. I've heard it's amazing. I think I'm just going to have to wait 10 to 15 years to read it.
It's a bit older. Yeah.
I'll keep hold of it till then. I don't mind.
At least they warn you.
Well, yeah, this is it. Yeah, I read the back and thought, this sounds iffy, but I'm going to get it anyway. And then the actual note put me off completely. Yeah,
I completely agree with you, because although my favourite Gothic novel is Frankenstein. Everybody always picks Dracula. I love Dracula. But Frankenstein is a better story. I'm sorry, Amy. It's a better story. I'm sorry. And it's the original Gothic novel. There would not be. Gothic didn't exist before Frankenstein. She was the one who invented it, Mary Shelley.
Well, the fact that it was written by a teenage girl as well is just
teenage girl on holiday with a load of very annoying boys. I mean, it's just a better story, hands down. I love both of them, but Frankenstein is elite.
I think Dracula is not enjoyable all the way through the book, and I tried to fix that by retelling it and taking out the bits that I find boring. I think there's amazing moments in Dracula and an amazing overarching structure and idea, but I think that some of the bits, like where they're going around trying to find a box of dirt and another box of dirt and another box of dirt, I'm like, can we just be done with the dirt and go and do something else, please?
I do like the journal part. I really like the journal part of Dracula's my favourite part.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. You are so dedicated. I've also got The Monk on my pile. Gav was on about it being a really good gothic example, but I have not read it. Oh, I don't
No,
like a magical ending, Denise. I'm with you there because I think
no,
sometimes
neither do I. No.
magic can be a really just convenient get out clause, can't it? Oh, look, I'm going
Oh,
to do magic spell to get us
oh,
out of
it's
this.
just
Or,
magic. Yes, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It's lazy, isn't it? It's
it
lazy.
can be. Yeah, I did like the haunting. The Haunting of Ashburn House was the second one I read that I enjoyed, but I
Yeah,
think From Below and Dead of Winter for me
yeah.
are like the elite, and then
I'll tell you something as well. A short story collection. I think it's called Small Pieces or something like that. She's got a short story
okay.
collection. She's got about 20 short stories. Those are very good.
I've got one called Voices in the Snow. I don't know whether that's short stories or a novel.
I don't know.
By
I think
Darcy
mine's
Coates.
called. It's called Small. I can't remember. Small something, but they were excellent. There's a haunted camera story in there that's really good.
I love a haunted camera story. Oh, The
Yeah,
House Next Door. Excellent. Yeah, Horror Store I did enjoy.
it
It's
was
a
good
very
fun.
short, yeah,
Yeah,
just short fun. Like it's not. I don't think it's a controversial grady one that probably ruffles many feathers in either direction.
and also
Ooh, summary horror.
you've got that wonderful kind of the book is incredible because as it goes on the images, it's like an IKEA catalogue, isn't it, and the images get more and more grotesque. It's
Yeah,
really
because at
clever
first you're like,
device.
yeah,
Yeah,
why is Grady telling me about a wardrobe for a
and
page?
then
But
you're
then a
like,
few
oh,
pages
okay.
on, you get something else, and you're like, okay, I see what you did
Yeah,
there. Yeah, it's really good. I need to reread Frankenstein. I'm so bad I haven't read it for the longest time.
I'll reread it every October.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to read it as an audiobook because I do find some of the bits of it so frustrating. But the full cast audio with Richard E. Grant and various other amazing
It's
people is
really good. I don't like
absolutely
audio,
great.
but even I enjoyed that.
Yeah, standalone horrors for me are the way to kickstart. I've just read Eat the Ones You Love, which was interesting. Um, I
Eat the
didn't
ones
love.
you love. Eat the ones
Yeah,
you love.
yeah, it's a bit like Little Shop of Horrors, but a very dark take on it. And it's a little bit more slow burning than I was looking for. I was expecting kind of a slashery, punchy, and it's punchy, but it's in a different way. Oh, we've lost Sharon for a second. I don't know whether we've
uh
just looked. I can still hear you, Sharon. I just can't see you for a minute.
oh, my camera's just gone off. Why has it done that? Why have
I
you
wonder if
done
it's
that?
gone to sleep or something. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is frustrating. I'd be annoyed with that, Denise, as well. You need a reason.
Sorry.
Oh, is that the final book in the trilogy, Stephen? The
Ah,
Kiara Blake ones? She's eaten by someone she loves. Yeah. Have
I
you read
am.
that
I
one,
am
Denise?
still. I am still here. I'm just trying to find.
Okay, well, I was going to go to sprint anyway, Sharon. So let's go to sprint, and then you're not under pressure to get sorted. I'll mute us both. I'll pop the timer on. We're going to do 40 minutes
Yeah.
to start, and hopefully we can get Sharon back by the end of that time. I'll mute us, and then we
It's just
can.
my camera. My camera's just falling off.
I wonder if you can reselect it, in StreamYard or something. If you need to leave, just leave, and I'll pop you back
Yeah.
in. But we will see you in 40 minutes. Hopefully, Sharon can get sorted, and then we can have a chat about how we've got on. See you on the other side.
Bye, loves.
That went by fast. I couldn't believe it when the cat meowed.
Wow.
You managed to
quick
get your
was
camera
that?
sorted? Yeah, too quick. Was everything okay with your camera? Was it
Yes,
just
I don't know. Yeah, it's because I plugged in my phone to charge, and the camera was like, hang on. So it came back on. It was fine. I mean, Sarah Jones. I don't know.
But yeah, that was
so much
good.
stuff plugged in. I don't.
Yeah, this is it. I got most of my admin things done. I've typed up on my computer a load of stuff, so I need to now like copy and paste it into the right places in the next sprint. But I think I'm by and large done. My brain feels a bit frazzled because I've jumped, from task to task and person to person, and I've got all these messages to send out. But it should mean that I'm administratively caught up by the end of tonight. I don't like admin, so I'll put it off because it'll, like if it's a little decision you've got to make and it's not a big deal, but you just think, oh, I can't make that decision right now. I'll make it in a few days. Then a week passes and you think, no, I really need to message this person back. I'm not good with decisions. I don't think. I think I and ah too much and second guess everything.
I tend just to make immediate decisions.
Oh dear, that's good.
I just kind of, if somebody asks me something, I'll just say yes or no. I don't really overthink it. If I'm free, do you know, it depends what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But if I'm free, I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm very, very laid back, I'm quite a chilled person.
I need to learn from you, Sharon, because various things this year have kind of pointed out to me that I'm not the least bit laid back. And I think I care too much about, and Kev will be grinning because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. I think I care too much about things that don't matter sometimes, but it's because it comes from a place of wanting to be like a nice person and people please. And I'm starting to learn, well, you're never going to people please ever. Did you do that when you were younger, Sharon? Not to say you're that much older than me, but I feel like
quite a lot older than
you. You're not that much, but I'm people pleasing less as I get older, but I still feel the urge sometimes. It just like overtakes me, this desire to people please.
I think I'm always trying to be kind.
Yeah.
I don't, if I decide not to do something, then I won't do it.
Yeah.
And I'll just say no. So I don't know. I found it that other people's opinions of me are none of my business. So I don't really.
I need to write that down somewhere. Other people's opinions of me are none of my business.
Exactly. So I just, if I'm a great friend.
Yeah, you are. You really are.
If you need me, I'm going to be there. But if I can't do something, there wouldn't be any kind of arm in and arm in. I just can't do it. I'm sorry, I don't want to. I don't want to do it. Right.
I think
I just don't want to.
You're very not judgmental, Sharon, and I feel like we would never fall out because you'd have a conversation, wouldn't you? And you'd come to a mutual understanding. And I think I find it frustrating. I try to shape the world to that, and the world isn't always going to be that, is it? The world isn't always going to be kind, and logic isn't always going to factor into behavior sometimes.
Everybody I know is like you. Virtually everybody I know is like you. They worry about upsetting people. They worry about saying something that will upset people. I never go in with the intention of ever hurting anyone, right? If they take offense at what I say, then I can't help that because I'm never unpleasant about it, right?
You've hit the nail on the head, Sharon. You just give me the advice that you didn't realise that I needed. But I do. I just need to get out of my own head sometimes. And the thing is, anybody who knows any of us would know that you would never do anything malicious, right? Or you'd always go. Kindness would always be the forefront of your mind.
And I think as well, and also it's in the business that you're in, my darling, it's very difficult to say no because you're like, they might not ask me again. So it's just, you don't want to say no to anything, but at the same time, you have to sometimes say no because it's not right.
Yeah, and there could be something could always come out of it. An example of this, in one of my freelance jobs, an opportunity came up and I wasn't sure whether to do it. And I was like, okay. And it was just a one-off thing that I'll never have to do again, like a one-off short-term project. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then there were so many pitfalls that Kev and I started saying, like, this whole process seems really difficult. Should I back out while I still can? And I didn't back out, and it ended up being terrible. And I was like, I should have actually listened to my gut. And it wasn't, it was just a little work project thing for a couple of weeks. But I should have listened to my gut, and I should have listened to like what the universe was telling me. Don't do this. It's going to be more hassle than it's worth. And it was more hassle than it was worth.
And people know if you're a soft touch. I don't
Yeah,
get.
I
I think
am. I'm too much.
people will ask me something, and I'll say yes or no, and they accept it because they know I'm
Yeah.
not going to back down. But it's just, I think people know if you're a soft touch, and they'll play on that, and people will take advantage of that if you're not careful. So it's just,
Be more
you
Sharon.
just
That's what I'm gonna do. Just to channel you a little bit because you do often you step back and like I say, like you're exactly right. I'd say yes to something and then spend 3 weeks thinking about the thing I don't want to
I
do
shouldn't have
rather
done.
than
Yeah, you
rather
don't.
than just saying no.
Life's short. Life's short. It's short
Yeah.
and harsh and painful and cruel a lot of the time, and also wonderful and joyful and all those things,
Yeah.
right? But life
Exactly.
is short. Don't do stuff you don't want to do. Sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do because just that's life, right? But if you've got a choice and you don't want to do something, don't do it.
That's a really good point. I've had this conversation with, 5-year-old. It's like, yes, you do need to go to work, you do need to go to school,
Yeah.
but there are things that you can choose that bring you joy. And I think people as well, like as I've got older, I think I've got less friends, but I'm
Yeah,
happier
you
with the
do.
friends I've got.
Because friends that people come into your life sometimes for a long time, short time, or just one time, and they
Yeah.
all bring something, and sometimes that can be wonderful things, and sometimes that can be really crap things, right?
Yeah.
Or everybody teaches you something. That's how I've
Yeah.
always thought of that. But you do, as you get older, your circle becomes smaller, right? Because you don't want the hassle. I don't want the drama of some of my friends I used to have. I just can't live with
Honestly,
it, right? Yeah,
I think, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. Drama is the very last thing I want. I want
yeah,
upfront honesty and kindness. I
yeah,
don't want drama and behind the backs talking. And I think as
yeah,
well, I've got a good friend recently who started telling me that like the things that come into your life sometimes they come to kind of teach you a lesson and
yeah,
you've got to be open to what that lesson is because otherwise you're going
yeah,
to keep it's like you do if you don't learn from history you're doomed to repeat it. I think
yeah.
sometimes these patterns come into your life, don't they? And I think this year there have been certain patterns where I think these same sorts of things keep circling around me and I'm like, are they coming for a reason because I need to learn something from this and I've not learned the lesson yet?
I think people are scared to lose people, lose
Yeah.
friendships. And sometimes a friendship just reaches its end. And that's nothing
Yeah.
bad for either of you. It's just you get to a point where you've just done. That's it, right?
Yeah, it's not personal, is it? And you you can with people you can grow apart or you can end up geographically at the other ends of the world from somebody.
Exactly.
I didn't expect this to be so deep and meaningful, Shara. You don't know
And
how
so the
much this
same
is
with
helping
family,
me.
by the way. It's the same with family. Family's
Yeah.
harder, right? But you'd be surprised what I've found out about parts of my family since I've lost Carl.
Yeah. You sort of when you go through something really hard, you find out who
Yeah,
matters, I think, and you find
yeah.
out who's there for you and who really cares.
People the other side of the world checked in on me more than some members of my family.
Mm.
So it's like you and I have taken those out of my life. They're not in my life anymore.
And I
So
think sometimes it comes from a place of it's hard, isn't it, to reach out to somebody sometimes when you don't know what to say. I've got a friend going through a similar thing now, but I reached out anyway, even though I didn't really know what to say. I
it
reached
doesn't
out to
matter.
say, I
It
don't
doesn't
really know what to
matter.
say, but I'm here for you.
It doesn't matter. It's just knowing
Yeah.
someone's there. I don't need somebody to talk to a lot of the time. I don't need to. I've got my sisters for that. That kind of stuff. And I don't need, but just knowing someone's there, somebody's just thinking of you. Just
Yeah.
somebody's thinking of you. Just somebody's saying, I just wanted to, I'm thinking of you. You know where I am if you need me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It means the world, really. It doesn't have to be anything heavy or big.
Yeah, it's easy for the person who isn't going through anything to reach out and do that, isn't it?
And it's better if they're not emotional. It's actually easier for me to deal with people who are not emotionally connected to Carl, right? People who didn't know him as a person,
Yeah.
because then they're coming to me completely unemotional,
Yeah.
and there's no connection. So it's harder dealing with people who did have, because
Yeah.
then they get upset, and then I'm comforting them.
Yeah, I know. And then you think, hang on, this is going the wrong
Hang
way
on,
around.
hang on. Do you know what I
I
mean?
just tried to
That's
send you daft pictures of Nathan. If you ever want cheering up and want a daft
I know, I
picture of
love it.
your
I
son
love
doing
it.
daft
It's so
things.
sweet. And I used my little Nightmare Before Christmas
Oh, you cut your
Cookies sent
mug,
me.
yeah. But it's
I
just
did this
such a little
morning.
thing, though. I just saw it in Asda and thought of you, and that was
Yeah,
it. And this is how
I've had
people
some
become proper friends, isn't it?
really daft presents from people, and it's just so thoughtful. Do you know? Just it doesn't. I'm not an expensive person. I'm happy with a cute, fluffy thing, or any. You know what I mean? My friend the other day sent me. She saw this key ring. I love Kuromi. I love Sanrio, and I love Kuromi. It's my favourite because they're purple and black. Right, it's my favourite colours.
Mm.
And she saw this kind of keychain, and it cost 99p in the pound shop. And she sent it to me, and I love it. It's on my keys. Do you know? It doesn't have to be expensive. It's just a thought. Just somebody just texting you and saying, "I'm just thinking about you. Are you all right?"
Yeah. Kev's still got a key ring that his best friend bought him when
Yeah,
they were children, and literally, I think walked up to him in the playground and said, "I know you like cars, so I've got you this car key ring." And I feel like that is the seed of their friendship, and they
yeah.
became friends after that.
It
And
is. It is.
it's amazing, isn't it? The little things you can do to either make or maintain a real connection with somebody.
It's simple little things. It's just that's what it does. It doesn't even have to be things. It could just be a thought.
Yeah,
Do you know
a
what I mean?
message, an emoji. Paula is really good at sending like funny memes and stuff.
Oh,
And
she makes me laugh. Some of the
sometimes
things.
one just land at the moment that you need it. Like you're having a rubbish day, and then Paula
Yeah,
sends you a funny meme about. She sends ones to me about being a mum, being a reader, or being a horror fan and stuff. Like she targets the ones that she knows I'll appreciate.
me too. Me too.
Yeah. And it's really
Yeah.
thoughtful, isn't it? And she doesn't have to say anything with it. I just know that
No,
she's there and she cares
she's
and she's
just
thinking
she's
about
just
me.
thinking of you. Yeah, exactly. Kasia does to her, me as well. She'll send me random memes, and do you know what I mean? And
I send
yeah.
Kasia cats. Whenever cats cross
Oh,
my
I send
path,
Kasia cats. And she
I just
sent
send them
cats to
cute
me.
stories.
She sends
Yeah.
cats to me too, of course, because we're both mad cat ladies,
Yeah.
aren't we? The real joy of last year for me, apart from finally meeting you, was
Yeah.
meeting Kasia. We spent the
Yeah.
night, we spent the whole evening together, me, Kasia, and Amelia. It was lovely. It was like we'd known each other forever.
Yeah, I met Melina as well. She gathered books.
Oh, Melina, I'd love to meet Melina. I'd love to meet Shelley. Oh my God.
Honestly. Well, Shelley, I've known for a long time, as you know, but Melina, I've not met her, and we sat down together in Pizza Express with Shelley, and it was just like I'd known her forever. And then Mia Kushner came in,
Yeah,
who'd never met Shelley or Melina either, and all of us just hit it off. And obviously, I'm really good friends with Mia and Shelley, and then they got on with each other, and I love it when you spend time with people and you walk out and you just go, "Oh, that was easy."
it was easy. Melina,
We
yeah.
spent a day. We've got some friends who live on a farm, and we ended up like spending an impromptu day with them yesterday. Because, long story short, he'd ordered a phone for me and got me a good discount, and we spent a day together, and it was just so fun and relaxed and
Easy.
easy, like no drama, no kind of worrying what anybody thought. And I do spend too much time doing that, and it's just nice to have a day with people where
It
if
just
there's a
gets
misunderstanding.
your brain
Yeah,
just rests. Do you
yeah,
know when
it does.
Melina sends me, she'll message me randomly and say, "I'm just thinking about you. Are you all right, Jenny? Are you okay?" And she just checks in on me all the time. When I met Amelia, and me and Amelia, and I know Amelia's close to you, isn't she? We've been
Yeah,
friends online, talking to each other for a couple of years. But it was honestly like we lived next door to each other when we met.
yeah.
She was so nervous about meeting me. I'm so nervous about meeting you, but it was just so easy. It was just so easy.
Because and you can be selective with online friends. You can tell from the comments. It always starts with comments on posts, doesn't it? And like me and Shelley and Mia, we'd start off commenting on people's posts, and then you start DMing each other, and it just becomes this really, at first, cautious and hopeful, but then really meaningful friendship.
And we all have this connection with books. We all love books, so it automatically gives us something in common, right? So it gives us a common ground, doesn't it? We build
and
on.
I think people who read are empathetic
Yeah.
and generally, not all, but generally they've learned about other people's emotions, and they've lived countless lives through books, and they've met people from all different backgrounds in books. So they're quite understanding, I think.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
So I think when you meet readers at events, I very rarely go to a book event and ever meet somebody I don't click with. And people come to my queue, and my signing cues, I always feel like, oh, I could have an hour-long conversation with each of you, but I can't.
Yeah, I know. It's easy because you've already got common ground. So, and yeah, I mean, you have to filter them out because there are some lunatics, especially on TikTok. TikTok seems to
I
have
get
gone
some
really.
weird comments on my TikTok. Did you see the post I did about my new bat lamp? I got like 99% absolutely lovely comments, like people saying, what a lovely lamp. Then you get
It's
people sending
beautiful.
long, as well, people sending a long critique of the lamp. And I'm like, well, I didn't make it, so I'm not bothered about that. And then people saying they'd like to steal it from me. And I'm like, just deleting that comment. Why do people say leave your windows open and I'm going to come and nick it? I know they're joking, but
It's
I
just
get too many.
uncomfortable. I don't know what's
I get
happened to
too many comments like that.
I don't know what's really happened to BookTok. I don't engage like I used to. I'm mainly on Instagram now and YouTube. Just because it's become really toxic. I don't know why.
I've noticed that quite a lot of the comments that come to my TikTok that I feel uncomfortable, I don't get loads of them, but when I do, it tends to be not book people. It's somebody who's come from a different part of TikTok, and quite often they haven't got many followers and they haven't got their real face there. And you can tell they're sort of a trolling type person. So I try and disengage from it.
I'll just delete them. I don't get many because the majority of people, I'm very careful about who I follow and who follow me.
Yeah.
And so don't get many of them, and they tend to be like really weird, just kind of really odd and just angry. Not particularly at me, just at something random. It's really weird.
Well, this is it. And like you said, circling back to what you said at the beginning of this conversation, it's not about you.
No,
When you get a weird comment or somebody's
No.
weird in real life, it's not to do with you, is it?
It's them. You've got to feel sorry for them, really.
Oh, Buffy figure. Sorry, Stephen. I read these comments quickly and then I often get totally wrong end stick. I really want more figures of actual Buffy, and I think I've got some like figurine statue things of her recently, but I think back in the day I used to think a lot of the figures didn't look like her, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to get the Buffy one, it doesn't look like her. But then I kind of regret it because I've got like multiple figures of characters that I like less than Buffy. It looks like she's my least favorite character because I've only got, I think, one figure of her. Obviously Spike is my favorite, so I've got loads of him, but the Spike ones actually look like James Masters, so I'd always see one and go, oh yeah, it looks just like him, I'll have that. You see the Buffy one and you think, who's that?
As far as I can remember, it was just like a generic blonde girl, wasn't it?
I think so.
She didn't look like her at all.
No, and I think maybe it's hard because her features are quite kind of classically American pretty. I kind of think of Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like maybe, James Masters has like the cheekbones and he has a very distinctive feature that you can replicate.
Yes, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe it comes out bland, whereas when you actually see her personality and her everything that is her shining through, like she's beautiful and it doesn't translate to an action figure of her somehow.
I watched
but the actual bust of her, some of the busts are quite good. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I watched Buffy this morning.
Did you? I really watched it for a little while.
It's because I came across a clip on online. I just, you randomly scrolling. I came across a clip, and it was the clip when Willow first, when the tabula rasa one.
Yeah.
And I thought I really fancy watching that episode, so I ended up watching about 4 of them in a row after that. But I just fancied watching that because it was just so funny.
It's in my top 3 episodes because they've gone through so much crap in season 6, haven't they? And then they have this one moment of relief where they don't know who they are.
Funny as hell.
And I just love how they assume like, well, the assumption of society is I must be a straight woman, so I must be dating Xander. And it's like, oh, no, you're not. Don't go there. And then like, well, Anya must be dating Giles because they own a shop together, and it just it all escalates.
Giles' son, and it's just just real fun. It's really fun, and then the ending is so sad.
Yeah,
because when she realizes what Willow's done, what Tara realizes. That ends their relationship not long after that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just such a poignant ending, but such a fun episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that song, the Michelle Branch "Goodbye to You," playing over the end of the episode. It's just like,
I tell you something, they were spot on with the music in Buffy, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, really. Do you know the last episode after is it season 2? When Buffy kills Angel and she goes away on the bus, that song at the end played on my wedding day. It's one of my It's one of my favourite songs by Sarah McLachlan. It's one of my favourite songs. And it played as I came in to the register office on my wedding day. I love the music, was spot on.
The bit where what always sticks out in my mind with the music is Spike and Drusilla, when there's all this stuff going down with Angelus, and Transylvanian Concubine by Rasputina plays, and Drusilla's dancing to it, and it's just absolutely mesmerising, the whole scene.
Drusilla's one of my favourite characters because she plays mad so well.
Well, I didn't get her. When I was a teenager, I thought she was terrifying and weird, and I couldn't see anything in her that I related to. And now I watch it and I think, oh my goodness, I really do actually see why this woman became like this. Like, I understand her so much better.
She's just completely insane. And she plays it so well.
Yeah. Juliet Lando is just incredible. Have you listened to the Audible? You're not a big fan of audio, are you? Have you listened to the Audible series?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I thought that she was amazing in that. I thought she was amazing in that, though. Drusilla, whatever you think of the overarching thing, any Drusilla and Spike moments, I'm just like, I need more.
I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big fan of audio, as you know, but actually, the full cast ones, like Dracula, the full cast ones, I enjoy because it's like listening to a play. Yeah. So I quite enjoy it. It's when it's just somebody's reading, like narrating it. That just sends me to sleep.
Yeah.
So, but I love it when it's a full cast. I love that.
I'm finding that more and more. I'm listening to an audiobook at the minute, and I think I'd enjoy the book of it, but the actual audiobook, I'm struggling because I can't. It's all one voice, so I'm struggling to differentiate between characters. Whereas if I'd got a full cast, like, I know the problem is the full cast is expensive and they're a bigger production, aren't they? So unless they're really investing in it and want it to be a really big thing as an audiobook.
There's a horror narrator called Joe Hempel. If you ever come across a horror book narrated by Joe Hempel, they're excellent. He does all the voices.
Really?
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, James Masters does the Dresden Files books, and I don't think they would have been a series I would have read because they're very fantasy and it's not normally my thing, but James Masters is so good at the voices. Like, there's a little pixie or imp character and he does this little squeaky voice that is so adorable. And like, he does the women really well, and the main character, Harry Dresden, it's first person. And he just captures it all. So, and I listen to far more of those than I don't think I've listened to them all even. But I listened to loads because they were narrated. So, I mean, James Masters, I'm going to listen to anything. If he read The Phone Book or the most boring things you can think of.
I like it when they make an attempt. Do you know what I mean? It's like half the fun of reading to kids is doing the silly voices. And it's the same.
It's when they tell you you've got it wrong, though, Sharon. Like, Nathan will go on. What did he say the other day? I was reading Isadora Moon and he started laughing and I said, what's wrong? And he went, you just did, and he didn't say the narrator, but I was doing the narrator bit, and he said, "Why did you do that bit like Isadora's dad?" And I just tuned out and started being Isadora's dad. Well, I did the narrator, and he clocked me straight away and went, "No, that's not your voice. That's Isadora's dad's voice." And I was like, "Oh, I must be good at can't realize what I was doing." I think I just switched off for a second, and I was thinking about something else, and of course, I did the wrong voice, and he got me straight away.
My friend's little girl loves Isadora Moon.
Oh, honestly, and Harriet Muncaster is the loveliest person. She's so prolific and clever, and she's just come up with all these different little worlds that kids absolutely love. I want to be her, basically. I've told Harriet, it's not a secret. I want my career to progress in the direction of hers.
I want to come back as you, Harriet.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to step into her body for a bit and learn what it's like to be as prolific and as a Buffy figure. So the Coyote Moon, I've been talking to Shelley about doing a Point Horror book club of one of the older Buffy books because I've been wanting to reread
them. We should so do that.
Yeah, I think we're going to do it later in the year, and it would just kickstart me, I think, rereading the old ones.
I really loved the early ones. The really early ones were brilliant.
They're just really fun, like a bit like a Point Horror. They're just a short arc, aren't they? That's quite simple.
Yeah, good stories.
Sometimes they tie into the series, sometimes the TV show.
Don't. I prefer them when they don't, to be fair.
Yeah, same, because I think the series ones, you're going to be constantly comparing and your head on got in. They've changed that bit isn't quite right. What's Denise been up to? Finish it. Excellent vlog editing.
Sorry about that.
I don't think you should apologise. I think that getting a reading Frankenstein. Yes, thank
That's
you, Denise.
absolutely
Honestly,
right.
I need to channel the
Absolutely
two of
right.
you. If I ever need to say no, shall I just come to you two, Denise
Yeah,
and
just
Sharon,
just
and say,
ring me. Just ring me and I'll
just
tell you.
yeah, just help me through, talk me through this no. Hello, we're doing well, thank
Hello.
you. We're having a lovely, very deep discussion. We do talk about books and
Yeah.
stuff sometimes, but we are just setting the world to rights. Honestly, it's so
Yes,
nice,
it's
isn't it? I
true.
keep being invited to lovely Discord. I'm sorry, I don't think I've been in, Denise. I've been invited to another one recently for A authors, and I always say I don't understand Discord. I'm trying. I really want to understand it, but I don't think my brain works that way. I need to train. Thank you so much.
I join loads of Discords, but then I keep forgetting to go in and check them because there's too
I
many
know.
social medias to keep up with, and I can't
There
spend
really,
ages online.
there really is. I've just got a new phone and I've gone through deleting, and I was saying to Kev, like, what is this social media that at some point I've joined? And it was at the point where you know where Twitter started to fall out of favour and all these different
Blue
ones sprang
Sky.
up. Yeah, but there's Blue Sky. There was one called Hive that I don't even remember. And I think there was one called Lemonade or something. And I just panic joined loads of social media, did nothing with any of them. And I've just gone and deleted them all now. It felt quite therapeutic. Thank you, GLX. I love doing live stream. Love doing videos.
I have very, very strict rules with myself about how long I spend online. Because otherwise I can scroll for hours. So I time myself.
That's really good, actually. How much do you time yourself for?
So in the morning, when I have my cup of tea outside, if it's a nice morning, I allow myself an hour.
Yeah.
And that's usually when I post a review or a post or something. Yeah. And then on an afternoon, I might do another hour.
Yeah.
But I don't go onto social media at all after 7 o'clock at night.
I need to get better at that.
I'm on something. Unless I'm on something like this. But even then, I'm not on my phone.
No.
I'm looking up stuff and I'm Googling stuff, but I'm not on any of the social media.
Yeah, I constantly
I'll Google
check
and I'll do WhatsApp and on messages and phone calls, but I just don't go on social media.
Maybe I need to do it between 9 and 3 is my main working hours. Yeah, and a lot of my social media, I do chat to friends on there, but a lot of it is responding to comments from people and it's checking my notifications. Yeah. I'm terrible for seeing how many likes I've got, and I know it doesn't matter, and I look anyway. It's just it's addictive.
I like to reply to people, and I do that usually in the afternoon. And but yeah, I've just found otherwise it's for my own good, because otherwise I can disappear for hours. Yeah, I'm just like, where's that time gone?
Yeah, and you feel actually often in a bit of a pit of despair after social media because it's not, a lot of it isn't built to be uplifting or it's built to suck you in and drain you and kind of get you to spend money.
I'm a book reviewer. I'm a book blogger. Do you know? I should be reading, not spending all the time on social media.
Yeah, the amount of times that I do stop looking at social media because a video pops up that says get off your social media and read your book, and I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So I do.
Thank you for reminding. Oh, it's so tempting this time of year, Kaiser. I have discovered that when we are at Disney, it is Halloween. So although it's August, Halloween and Spirit Halloween opens in August in Florida. So I get it, Kaiser. Halloween decorations are my house decor, as you can probably imagine. So
me too.
If I see a nice bat at Halloween, it stays out all year.
My house is Halloween 24/7 all year.
Yes.
It never goes out. I put the decorations up and they stay up forever.
Thank you, Denise. You two can train me to respect my own boundaries. And I think Sharon's right. It's people pleasing in a social sense, and then it's worrying about missing an opportunity in a work sense. I'm really terrible on both fronts.
Because I have the opinion with the idea of missing something. I have the opinion that if something's meant for you, it comes back. Something's meant for you, and you say no to it, it'll come back at some point.
This is it. And sometimes I've worried, like I genuinely couldn't go to Comic-Con last October, and I was worried. I was like, oh no, what if this means I'm off their list now and they'll forget about me? And of course, no, I got an email earlier this year that said, please come to Comic-Con, and I ended up doing more panels than ever. So actually saying no didn't at all harm my chances of doing the next one. So thank you. I mean, maybe, just I think what happens to me when I go on Discord, I see all the different channels and I go, oh, I don't know which one to do, and I go away again. So maybe that's it, Denise. Maybe you send me a link to the specific bit that I need, and then maybe I'll be less scared.
I think I've got
Yeah.
a moment. I've got the Kelsey ones mainly, so the Halloween-a-thon and the old school April, because I tend to
Oh
do
yeah.
those ones. But I forget they're on. I forget to check.
The only problem with Discourse as well is I sometimes have to remember, particularly when it's a spooky readathon. Sometimes I'm having a conversation and then I realise people are reading my book, and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to let you still be able to have. I want people to be able to have free, kind of open conversations without feeling like I'm lurking and do you like it? Because I am a reader first and a reviewer first, and then an author came later. I've got to kind of navigate those spaces carefully as well. And
well, I mean, now I've got the computer set up upstairs so I can go on Discord properly, because at the moment it's on my phone and you can't do a lot on your phone.
Do you know what? I wonder if that would be better for me to do it on my computer, because phone.
Because Shelley's doing a watchathon for the Point Horror Movie Club on Discord. You can't do it on your phone, but you can do it on your computer. So I'll be watching along, and you could do lots more interactive stuff, On your phone, it's limited. Yeah.
Thank you, Denise. No, it's not.
Always.
I see, because we're going away in August, and I think I'm going to buy loads of Halloween stuff. I think what I'm going to do is buy loads of Halloween stuff when I'm away and come back and decorate then. So 1st of September, I will be Halloween.
There's actually a really good book out called Halloween.
Yeah, that opportunity thing is so hard, Denise, completely. I mean, I could do that, but I also then feel like a lurker, so I can't win. I try. Do you know what? I don't seek reviews out. So if somebody tags me, I look at stuff. But I do quite often. I'm scrolling, and because I follow horror people, I see my book, and then I'm like, oh, do I engage with this or not? And usually I end up messaging the person and saying, like, is it okay if I engage with this, because I've just stumbled upon it accidentally. And Kev will send me stuff because he follows all my hashtags, so he'll get stuff on his hashtag following thing, and then I'm like, oh, I've been sent this now, so now I need to figure out what to do. So I always just message people and say, can I share this? Do you mind if I comment? If you don't want me to look, I won't. And nobody's ever said, please don't. They always say yes, but I just feel more polite to ask permission. Again, please, people, spot the pattern of my life. Right, let's do another sprint. It's nearly 9 o'clock, so I think we've got time to do one more. I'm just going to finish off those last few bits. Do another sprint, and then we can wind down for the evening. Are you okay with that?
I'm going to read on this one.
Okay, so 40 minutes. Oh, I didn't even ask you how your sprint went. We got talking about all sorts of things. How did your plan go?
I wrote a basic plot in 2,000 words.
Amazing.
So, yeah. So I've got the first chapter, I think.
You are an absolute marvel, Sharon. Keep it up. Yes, this is like day one of your retirement or whatever you're on.
Well, yeah, and I'll get into a routine where I'll, sit and do so many words a day, or I'll do like an hour a day or 2 hours a day, and I'll get into a routine of doing it once.
That's how it works for me.
My sister's here in a couple of weeks for 2 weeks, so everything's a bit up in the air, and I've got a wedding I'm going to in Cardiff, so so it's like, so when everything settles down towards the end of the year, then I can get into a routine with it,
It's very kind, Denise. I
agree with you.
I'm a reader. I've seen authors be, I don't want to say divas, that's the wrong word. I've seen authors get upset about stuff online, and I get it because books are so personal, aren't they? And I don't want to ever just fall into a trap of like reacting to something with a big gut emotion. I don't think I ever would, but you never know. And generally the stuff I see is nice anyway, but I just never quite know how to navigate it, because there's all this stuff about authors should stay out of reader spaces. But what about when you are a reader as well? You don't want to stay out of your own space.
I think it's fine. I think the only problem is with authors in reader spaces if they get a bit arsy when they get a bad review. Then that's,
you know what?
I think the review space. I think the review space is for readers, but actual social media can be for both.
Yeah, nobody likes a bad review.
But not everybody's going to like your stuff, is they? It's impossible.
I know as a reader that you and we agree on a lot of books, but some we don't like the same books. And that's fine.
We did that with Grady Hendrix earlier on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay not to like something. Not everyone's going to like it.
And we still like each other, Sharon, at the end of it. We don't need to fall out over our differing Grady opinions. That sounds.
You too, my darling.
Excuse me, Dracula-inspired yarn. I need to see pictures of that, please, Denise.
Has it got bats in it? Has it got bats?
I don't know, but I'm very envious already. Hey, Dracula, anything, and I'm like, you summoned me. I need to know what it is.
You summoned me.
Yes. Let's do. Honestly, I get so many memes sent about Dracula and stuff like that, and I love it that very specific niches like make people think of me. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
they found a body and it looks a bit like a vampire, and you thought of me. Thank you so much. It happened a couple of years ago. They found a body that looked like it had fangs, and the amount of friends that sent me that article
Linked you to it, yeah.
It's like, thank you. I'm known for the dead body and fanged part of the news. This is lovely.
I always do. If I see anything Dracula, I always think of you, and I think of Kirsty. I always think of you too. Yeah.
Yeah, we're the vampire girlies, aren't we? Okay, let's do a sprint and then we'll catch up on the other side. Oh, and that's it. Reading Sprints done. How did your last sprint go, Sharon?
Yeah, I got to about chapter 12.
Nice. How's it going?
Yeah.
This is your zombie book, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's because over 6 books, and so it's really gives them chance to kind of flesh out the characters. Do you know what I mean? Some of them are horrible people, and some of them I want to die, even though they're heroes technically.
Yeah, it's like that Game of Thrones thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like it when you've got complex characters that you kind of want them to be on the chopping block, and sometimes they're the ones that don't get it.
Oh, there's one man in this who's just he's horrendous. Everybody thinks he's the one who's going to save him, and they don't know what he's like. So you do, because you've had the backstory. Do you know, bro? It's but yeah, so it's really, really good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I got my bits done and emailed them to the people who need them, and then I've emailed some to myself because I was too frazzled, and I was like, I need to just have one check, and then I'll send them tomorrow. And we're watching. Have you watched any Poker Face starring Natasha Lyonne? I don't know.
No, I've got that to watch. It's supposed to be really good, isn't it?
Very good so far. It's like a modern take on Columbo, where you see a relationship breaking down in real time and then one of them kills the other, or you see somebody involved in an accident and a person dies and then how they cover it up. And then this girl comes in who can tell if they're lying or not.
Yeah.
And she's on the run herself, so she ends up doing all these jobs along the way. So she's working for a company briefly and figures out there's something weird's happening, and she's just this sort of, I love her, can't think of the word because I'm so tired. Like somebody who isn't a professional detective, kind of a hobby detective. I love that, where she just finds stuff and she won't let it go because she kind of wants to pick out if there's injustice. She wants to fix it, and she wants to use her ability to help people.
And I do love her as well as an actress.
She's fantastic. Oh, she's brilliant.
I just finished watching, I think it was on Disney, and that was, I can't remember what it's called now, but that was like a woman who's a mother, and she just sees patterns in everything. And
I watched it too. Is it High Potential?
Oh, so something like that. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I love that.
It was great. I loved the rapport between the characters and how she just ended up in it accidentally with this kind of perfect job for her.
Because she was the cleaner.
Yeah, because she solved a murder, didn't she? She wrote on a board, like, this person, I can't remember exactly what she did, but she unpicked this whole case, and then the detective had to pick up the pieces.
It's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes kind of thing. That's how Sherlock Holmes' brain works. You know what I mean? They see patterns. And so, yeah, I just love her. And the fact she's just like a regular kind of mom. And I just love that. I really enjoyed that series.
I think you'd like Poker Face, similar vibe, and it's quite comedic, and some of it's really outlandish. And the main cast is just incredible. They've got a really good central cast. And then Katie Holmes is in this episode, and Adrian Brody was in another one. Oh. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in another one. So they get really well-known people, and then like becoming people. Bless you. Yeah, it's really good. It's one of the best things I've watched recently. It's kind of
on my radar just because I love her. I've got on my radar just because I love her. So, but I don't watch a lot of telly. It's taken me weeks to watch that series. Yeah, don't really have the television on very much.
Yeah, we watch about an episode a night properly, and then we have YouTube in the background generally, and we watch stuff like Sprints in the background. Yeah, see, this is me as well, Denise. It's like, oh no, there's too much murder and kissing in this book, and I'm like, sold. Give me it. I really don't like vampires. Horror. 1 star. Yeah.
Especially with horror, if somebody gives says, "Oh, this was too gory," I'm like, okay, yeah, I love that. Exactly. You know what I mean? So I think that some, what one's person 1 star is another one's 5, isn't it?
Yeah, that sounds Dracula enough to me. I like a good. That sounds Isadora Mean, like we're talking about, but a grey.
I want to start knitting again. I love knitting.
Pink. I'm just a very basic knitter. I'm knit 1 line in 1 direction, turn around, come back, make a scarf.
Oh,
that's me. I'm like a knit for relaxation person.
I prefer crocheting, really. So I might, I've got time now to do all these things.
You can. It's amazing. Stephen says that if you go on YouTube, there's a Mary Shelley Frankenstein documentary, and Stephen likes Frankenstein too.
Yeah, I'll have a look, my darling. Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm going to go watch more Poker Face. I assume you're going to go and read more of your brilliant zombie book.
Yes, I am. Yes, go downstairs because the cats are going crazy now.
Oh, go find out what the cats are
Like,
doing.
what's she doing in that? What's she doing? She's left work.
Oh, yeah,
Where's
'cause
she in there now?
Yeah, you've moved, haven't you, to a new spot? So they're trying
This
to
is
figure
my
it all
office
out.
upstairs, or
Yeah.
office, craft room, ritual space. You know, because I'm a witch. There's a bit of everything in here, and so I only really lock myself in here when I'm working. So it's confusing for them. It's like night time. Why are you working? They're
Oh, they're
outside
gonna
the
love
door
it.
going. "La, la, la."
You can go and tell them now that all is well.
All
You
is
can
well.
go back to your normal routine. Well, thank you,
Yeah.
people in the comments. Thank you,
Thank
Sharon.
you,
It's always
everyone.
been a pleasure. Thank you for sorting my life out as well, Sharon. I feel like you give me like therapy and
Anytime,
life
anytime.
advice.
Anytime, my lovely.
All of it.
Anytime.
I appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll end it there. I'm going to try and do Sundays, as I said, but it sounds like it might clash with some other people's stuff. So I'll play it by ear and well, if it stays at Sundays, it stays at Sundays. I'll go with the flow. So
Yeah.
hopefully see you all soon.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.